and welcome to this new video. This one will be about substances. What do I mean with this? I'm talking basically about everything that you would call drugs, and also stuff that you wouldn't consider drugs, maybe, like tobacco and alcohol. But first I want to start with a small disclaimer. This video is for grown-up and responsible people, and in no way do I encourage the use of any illegal substances. And it's always your responsibility if you do that, and you should always check whether substances are legal in your country or not. In no way do I ask you to take any of these substances. This is always your responsibility. What I'm sharing here are my own experiences and official data, and nothing that I make up. End of disclaimer. Well, first I want to steer your attention towards the question, why is alcohol legal while other substances are not? Like, first of all, I mean, these substances exist in the world, right? And who is the state to tell you you cannot do this and you cannot do that with substances? It's your own life, right? So I think a sovereign being should decide for himself or herself whether he or she wants to ingest certain things or not. This can only be useful for people who need like guidance and want to be in their safe space, and yeah, that don't leave the system and just always listen to what other people tell them. And in that box, maybe it's okay, but I generally encourage people to broaden their horizons. So why is alcohol legal? Did you know that in Germany 7% of all deaths go back to the consumption of alcohol, and that the WHO states that between the 15 and 49-year-olds, alcohol is the most dangerous, like the thing that is responsible the most for deaths. Like this is something, and if you include all age groups, it's on rank number 7 in terms of mortality. So with alcohol, we're talking about a really dangerous substance here. I mean, of course, you at some point you may lose control easily, even above the amount of alcohol that you drink, and then all sorts of things may happen. So alcohol is a very dangerous substance. While the reports on the other drugs, like LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, DMT, marijuana, there's very sparse information about deaths with these things. And I think you have to dig very, very deep to even find a statement which goes like, X people have died because of this. Because from my current understanding and knowledge, there is not a single case where someone died because of an overdose of LSD or mushrooms or even DMT. And like, from the dozen millions of people who take marijuana, it's the same thing. Like, this stuff doesn't kill you. Of course, there may be side effects, there may be effects that permanently alter your behavior and everything. I'm not saying that, but I'm talking about the mortality here. And comparing these two groups, say LSD, mushrooms, etc., and then alcohol, one has to say that alcohol is definitely the more dangerous substance. Maybe you're saying, oh, well, it's okay, everyone's drinking it, and I've been drinking it all my life, Yeah, you can think that way. Maybe that's not the smartest way to think about it. And what I can tell you or remind you of is that alcohol is a poison for the body. It doesn't matter how much you ingest, it is a poison. It damages your liver. It sucks the nutrients out of your body. And just this mere fact should really make you think, like, why are you even drinking that? Why are you even drinking alcohol? It became so normal in our society, worldwide. Hardly anyone questions this, and at least the way I grew up, man, I started drinking alcohol with 13, and like, at least when you're like 16, then it's considered normal to drink alcohol, and you're uncool if you don't do it. So I think you kind of have to blame society for it. Like, nobody is really, I mean, or maybe not enough, reminding the people that this is a very dangerous substance. And I'm not sure if this proverb exists in English, but you shouldn't take it on the light shoulder. You shouldn't take it too easy, actually. I think, like, if you're a parent, you should really have a proper discussion with your child about this. Not saying don't do it. I mean, let them make their experience or whatever, but just remind them that you can also die from this. Right? While, talking again about the other group, I'm not aware of any deaths in this other group. And I'm not talking about stuff like heroin or, this kind of stuff. Like, there's the substances that can elevate your consciousness and your understanding of things, and that can heighten your perception. This is also, like, really my own experience. And there are substances that bring you down. Maybe you get a short high. You're happy for a short time or something, or more relaxed, and then afterwards your body will tell you that, maybe not the best substance that you gave me here. And of course, there's the topic of addiction, which, of course, we want to avoid. But then there's so many people addicted to alcohol and tobacco. Of course, also to other things, but at least they don't kill you, right? So compared to alcohol and tobacco, LSD doesn't kill you. Or let's say it's way less dangerous. So why is this? Why is alcohol legal and why is LSD not? My idea about this is, the state, the way it works, it can only work with people that are not completely sovereign and not completely conscious about how the system runs. Because there's just these few people making decisions and giving orders, and they completely rely on people following the orders. And of course, it's interwoven with the money system, which, I talk about in another video, but they want you to be slightly dumb so that you can be more easily controlled. Of course, not only alcohol is their means of choice. There is other things, but also the pharma industry profits from this. Because pharma, which is Greek for poison, the pharma industry is one of the biggest industries in the world. And they need sick people to make profits, which they have to do because of the money system. So, if you're, let's say, a state or someone owning a big pharma company, then why should you be interested in banning such a nice thing, that causes so many diseases? Smoking, or the lung diseases that you can get from it, the bad blood circulation issues and all the nice diseases that can result from this, or with alcohol, where you're basically destroying your liver, you can cause so much damage. Why should you ban that? It's good for the it's good for the economy, right? While on the other side, For example, if you ingest LSD or DMT or whatever, and you all of a sudden you realize certain things about yourself and who and what you are and where you should be heading towards, which from my perspective, from my opinion, is that you should be heading towards enlightenment, which is a difficult word, but you should be heading towards becoming a god or divine, or realizing that you are. That's what you should be striving for, you know? And don't get stuck in this loop where society tells you that, you know, you have to have a house and like 2 cars and a family and go to holidays very often and then blah, blah, blah. But for this, you need to work all your freaking life. And if you work, that means you don't have time to do something else. For example, realizing your divinity. So I'm not really sure to what degree, you know, people do it on purpose, like keeping you low. It may not even be that a lot of people are fully aware of this. And of course, most people will not have ill intentions. That's also sure. But there's these few people, undefined group of people that want control. And also the image that I have about these people is that they suck out your energy, which is your lifetime. They want to keep you away from your divinity because they profit from you being an idiot. That was a bit harsh, but you know, you get the point. They profit from insecure people. They profit from fear. They profit from war. Oh, they profit from war. You know, usually it's like, you know, just a short anecdote, but if you own the weapon and war industry, but then also you own the industry that builds buildings, that's a nice deal. Like, you always win, right? So I really want you to think about why alcohol and tobacco are legal and why the other substances that I mentioned. I'm not talking about heroin, and I'm not talking about meth or this kind of bullshit. I'm talking about psychoactive substances that can potentially elevate and raise your consciousness. Why would that be? And in case you're still consuming alcohol, then ask yourself the question, like, why are you doing it? Because I can understand that with a lot of people, whatever drug, whatever substance they're using it to escape from something. And that's fair sometimes, you know. Maybe you have a hard time, but then you should realize rather quickly that this is not the solution. Like, running away from your problem is never the solution. It never works. And by using substances like alcohol or, you know, whatever drug, name anything, by using this to escape from your problems, you're just making a bigger problem. So whatever addiction you may have, I hereby now strongly encourage you to stop using that substance. If I was to help someone with getting off a substance without the use of ayahuasca or, you know, like Bufo or something, or LSD, I would recommend, you know, for, let's say with cigarettes, let's say you smoke 20 cigarettes a day, then my recommendation is that you say, okay, next week, for the whole week, every day, there's a maximum of 18 cigarettes. And the week after, you reduce that to 16. So every day, maximum 16. And depending on, you know, how much you start with and how much you can handle, just give yourself enough time for this. And you will see that with these small steps, you understand, oh yeah, you know, I can work towards this direction and I can do it. Instead of, okay, let's cut it down to 0 from one day to the next. Some people can do it, especially if they really had a profound insight about why they're doing it and that this is not right. But I think most people cannot stop from one day to the next. And if you're one of these, I recommend take your time. Take your time. It's better than like trying for a week and then failing and being back to where you started from. With alcohol, like, because so many people are drinking it, of course I know that people feel good when they drink it, right? But then ask yourself, why are you doing it? Why are you drinking alcohol? Are you running away from something? Look into the mirror. Be honest with yourself. What are you running away from? Or if you're, maybe too stiff in a discussion or talking with people, okay, be aware that this is the case and try to work on that. Or maybe you associated alcohol with a community. Like when you go to a place where people drink alcohol, maybe you experienced a feeling of this community with other people, and that's why your brain got wired in a sense that it associates alcohol with fun and community and other people. Maybe that's what you're lacking. Or maybe someone died and you want to forget. But as I said, it doesn't work like this. It just doesn't. So this category of substances like LSD and so on that I mentioned, these can potentially, under the right circumstances and a responsible use, help you with problems that you have. They can help you elevate your perception. They can help you cleanse your body. And let's say specifically with ayahuasca, it is well known that it can cure an addiction sometimes within just one administration of the brew. Which, if you never heard of ayahuasca, sounds completely crazy maybe, but I've heard that more than once. And I've also heard stories and experienced something myself where people were taking DMT substances and it changed something in their life big time. Like, for example, this one girl, she said that she has like control issues or had control issues, and she was taking Bufo, which is it's a 5-meo DMT. It's a substance from a frog, and the active ingredient is 5-meo DMT. And she took it just twice, and then her control issues were gone. I remember personally from my experience, like 2 girls that have taken LSD on different occasions. And the one girl, she had like social anxiety, but it just became clear to her while she was on the trip. It just became very obvious to her at that moment. Like you could tell it maybe from looking at her normally, but for her, it like she never said that she has like the social anxiety. She never said that to anyone. And all of a sudden it became crystal clear to her. Of course, this comes up with that there must be a root trauma behind this. And this will also come up, maybe not as clear as day, but I could tell because she had a hard time. I was sitting her with this, and at the end of the day, she said it was very good she went through this, and that I was guiding her and helping her through this. And the other girl, that was my ex-girlfriend, and she remembered a trauma from her childhood that she had completely forgotten. And of course, it's tough. But then, once you're through it, you change something in your system. And depending on the trauma, this can be a huge thing. This can be a game changer for your whole life. So there's chances in these substances, especially with LSD and MDMA, which have been proven, I would say, like scientifically proven to be very effective in as an addition in psychotherapy. Just as a short side note, for example, with MDMA, as far as I remember, it is so that you build up some distance between yourself and your own old experience. that you had. So it's more like a bit like watching a movie instead of being the main actor of that movie. Personally, I don't really have experiences about trauma and healing with LSD for me. I've just experienced that in other people, and I heard many stories and saw it on videos. But for me, it's more like a very divine energy. I felt enlightened a few times when I took LSD, and very, very much in peace with like everything that is. Everything that is fine the way it is, and that I need nothing. I only had one bad trip, so to say, on LSD. And then, it may be the same thing. It may be that this was some kind of a trauma, although it had like very magical attributes to it. So I've never seen anyone act out like this under any substance. But it was hard. Like, there was no one there to sit me, and I got fucking scared, I can tell you. But if this is like the risk that, let's say, out of 40 times, there's this one bad trip, maybe because specifically at that time, I must say that I was in some kind of a paranoid energy a bit, and I was watching quite a few videos about, like conspiracies and Satanists and, this kind of stuff. So my mind wasn't really clear. It may have to do with this very fact that I had a bad trip, although I'm not sure. Because there's this puzzle in my life. Maybe at some point I will make a video about this, and this should be super interesting. But right now I have no idea exactly why that is. So yeah, coming back to my experience. So I did it quite a few times, and it produced very nice states. And also, the first time I ever saw an aura was with LSD. I never saw it before. And after that experience, I could also see the auras without LSD. I mean, not like super clear. We're still talking about something very subtle, very, very subtle. But anyway, this opened the door. Like, something happened when I took it. That's what I'm saying. It heightens your perception. It opens new possibilities. And of course, it has a lot to do with your mindset. It has a lot to do with it. So I strongly suggest you only take it when you feel proper, when you feel healthy, and when you feel, like centered and everything. I would definitely advise against the use in clubs or with the wrong friends, or if you're just had some terrible experience happen to you. I strongly discourage you from this. But if you should you decide to take it, I ask you to be responsible with this. Also with the dosages. Start small if you decide to do it, and have someone sit you, so you can really feel safe and secure. And rest assured that from a small dose of LSD, you will not die. Definitely, you will not die. And be ready for whatever comes, right? So yeah, to sum this up, I made very good experiences with LSD and other substances. I've seen quite a lot of healing take place. I have seen my own perception becoming wider, and now it's kind of permanent. While I've seen a lot of people, like who consume alcohol behaving like complete idiots. And I also heard from people who died from alcohol. And I want to encourage you, if you should have any addiction, to reduce that addiction as much as you can. Find the root cause. Because most likely you're having this addiction to run away from something. Be honest with yourself. No one will judge you for your problems or what happened to you. Only you can do it. And if you stop judging yourself, just look at what's the problem. Most likely you can have the strength to overcome this addiction. There's this experiment with rats. There's like 2 cages. In the one cage there's only water and cocaine water. And eventually the rat will die from drinking the cocaine water. And in the other cage, it's a very big one, lots of rats, having they're kind of like a community. They can play, it's very natural and everything. And these rats, given the same choice between water and cocaine water, they will not drink the cocaine water until they die. Because the environment is good for them, right? There's enough other stuff to do that they won't suicide with cocaine water. And it's very similar with humans. So, yeah, if you have some addiction and you want to get off of this, maybe consider your environment. And I can just wish you the very best for getting off your substances if you're addicted. Well, I thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you got a few new ideas and thoughts from this. And maybe you try out new things. Maybe you don't. This will always, of course, be your choice. And when you're ready for it, you're ready. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.